Have you ever felt like your own emotions feel like a maze you can't escape? Insecurity, fear of losing control, or constant worry about what others think can make each day heavier. But what if I told you there's a way to regain balance, strengthen your self-esteem, and build healthier relationships without becoming insensitive or distant? Emotional detachment is exactly that. Learning to feel consciously, to observe your emotions without letting them overwhelm you, and to act from clarity, not fear. Throughout this video, you'll discover practical ways to cultivate resilience, autonomy, and personal confidence. With techniques of mindfulness, gratitude, meditation, and reflections on relationships, work, and family, you'll be able to transform the way you manage your emotions. Emotional detachment isn't an invitation to disconnect from life, but to live it fully, with ease and presence. Prepare to understand that letting go isn't losing, and that true inner security arises when you learn to trust yourself and the natural flow of life. What is emotional detachment? Emotional detachment is like opening the windows of a heavy room to let the breeze in. It doesn't mean denying or repressing emotions. On the contrary, it's about recognizing them clearly and not allowing every internal fluctuation to dictate your decisions. For those who experience insecurity, this concept is liberating. It's like learning to breathe outside the turmoil, seeing your feelings without being swallowed by them. Practicing this detachment brings balance to your daily life because you begin to respond to situations instead of reacting automatically. When this happens, a sense of autonomy emerges. You're no longer at the mercy of your feelings or what others expect. Self-esteem grows organically because you stop defining yourself by the ups and downs of the moment. This change isn't a sudden change, but a path of resilience and continuous learning. Each small victory reinforces personal confidence, demonstrating that emotional freedom is a daily process. Living emotional detachment is also an exercise in mindfulness, observing thoughts and emotions without judging or clinging to them. Imagine being in a park watching people pass by, some pleasant, others not so much. You notice them, but you don't chase after each one. This is how it works with feelings. You see them, welcome them, but don't need to blindly follow them. This practice, in addition to reducing insecurity, expands your capacity for gratitude for the present, because it frees the mind from the burden of controlling everything. Detachment, therefore, is more than a technique. It is a life posture that promotes balance and resilience in the face of challenges. By adopting it, you build healthier relationships and a solid emotional foundation to face unpredictable situations without losing your center. And the curious thing is that, by letting go, you discover that your inner strength has always been there, waiting to be cultivated. Detachment is not indifference. One of the biggest fears of those who hear about detachment is appearing cold, distant, or even inhuman. But detachment isn't about shutting off your heart. It's about learning to feel with balance, without letting each emotion take over your entire being. Indifference is absence. It's turning your face away so as not to see, while detachment is a serene presence. It's being there without drowning. For those dealing with insecurity, this difference is crucial. It's not about becoming insensitive, but about creating an internal space where emotions can flow without disrupting everything. This space fosters resilience, because you can act clearly, even when your heart is racing. It's like listening to a sad song without having to repeat the chorus all day long. You appreciate it, feel it, but don't get caught up in it. With this attitude, your self-esteem strengthens, because you recognize yourself as someone capable of handling deep feelings without getting lost in them. Letting go, therefore, is a form of emotional autonomy. It means being available to love, connect, and care, but without becoming hostage to the fear of loss or not meeting expectations. The consistent practice of mindfulness greatly helps in this process, as it teaches you to observe what arises within you with gratitude and without judgment. For those who fear that letting go is synonymous with growing cold, it's worth trying small actions. For example, when hearing criticism, take a deep breath before reacting. When feeling jealous, acknowledge the feeling without turning it into an accusation. Gradually, you realize that letting go isn't about cutting ties, but rather strengthening more authentic and mature connections. This approach reduces insecurity and brings powerful balance to relationships, because you stop seeking the validation you already build within yourself from others. The science of detachment. When we talk about emotional detachment, we're not dealing with something mystical or unattainable. There's science behind it. The brain, with its prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and self-control, and the limbic system, the center of emotions, shows how we can train our minds to respond with more balance. For those who experience insecurity, this explanation is a relief. It's not about weakness or lack of feeling, but about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and create new pathways. Practicing detachment strengthens brain regions linked to resilience, making it easier to deal with criticism, frustration, and loss. It's as if we're building an internal muscle. With each exercise in self-control, our emotional autonomy grows. This understanding helps boost self-esteem because it shows that it's possible to learn and evolve. No one is born ready. Furthermore, studies in positive psychology reveal that habits like mindfulness, conscious breathing, and gratitude modify mental patterns, reducing anxiety and increasing feelings of well-being. Imagine practicing a few minutes of deep breathing every day. You calm your nervous system, reduce emotional reactivity, and create space to reflect before acting. For those struggling with insecurity, this simple routine already promotes balance. Reading books like The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg or Mindfulness by Mark Williams can help you understand and apply these mechanisms. Detachment, in this context, is almost a scientific tool for self-care, and each small step contributes to healthier relationships and a more stable emotional life. When we realize this, detachment stops feeling like a sacrifice and becomes a logical path to inner freedom. Benefits of emotional detachment. Emotional detachment offers benefits that go far beyond momentary emotional control. Those who practice it regularly experience mental clarity, greater resilience, and more authentic relationships. For those who experience insecurity, the benefit is twofold. You no longer feel hostage to circumstances and begin to realize you have power over your own choices. Imagine receiving criticism or facing a conflict without being shaken. This feeling of inner mastery is liberating. Furthermore, detachment allows you to live with more balance, avoiding emotional overload and unnecessary stress. It strengthens self-esteem as you learn to value yourself without depending on others' approval. Every difficult situation becomes a learning opportunity, strengthening autonomy and personal confidence. Small daily exercises, such as pausing before reacting or reflecting on emotions, help consolidate these benefits. Another powerful effect of detachment is the building of healthier relationships. When you connect without becoming overly attached, you create space for genuine reciprocity and avoid the strain of unrealistic expectations. For those who fear losing control or being rejected, detachment is an antidote. By releasing excess tension, you move closer to a lighter and more rewarding coexistence. Practicing gratitude reinforces this perception, showing that there is always something to appreciate, even in loss. Resilience increases because each emotional challenge ceases to be a burden and becomes a practice in balance. Over time, you realize that detachment doesn't mean loss, but rather gaining clarity, freedom, and the ability to live in the present more fully. It's a silent yet transformative shift that is reflected in all areas of life. Detachment and self-esteem. Letting go of internal criticism and external expectations is an essential step toward building solid self-esteem. Often, those who struggle with insecurity find themselves trapped by the judgments of others or by the inner voice that constantly demands perfection. Detachment allows you to see these criticisms without them defining your worth. By realizing that you don't need to meet standards to feel important, you discover genuine freedom. This emotional autonomy strengthens personal confidence and creates a sense of balance because you begin to decide what to absorb and what to let go. It's a gradual process. Each situation in which you practice detachment contributes to a more resilient and authentic self-image. Experience shows that people who cultivate detachment become less vulnerable to insecurity and more open to new opportunities. Furthermore, detachment helps you deal with difficult emotions without judging yourself. When you face frustration or rejection, don't let yourself be overwhelmed by their weight. Observe, feel, and move forward. This not only reduces anxiety but also strengthens your self-esteem, as you realize you can survive emotional storms. Practices like journaling, guided meditation, and self-affirmations help you internalize this process, making it more natural and effective. It's like learning to walk without constantly relying on others' opinions, building strength and resilience with each step. Over time, detachment becomes a powerful ally, demonstrating that true self-esteem comes from within and that trusting yourself is the surest path to healthier relationships and choices. Meditation techniques for detachment. Meditation is a powerful tool for practicing emotional detachment, especially for those who feel insecure or have difficulty dealing with intense emotions. Techniques like mindfulness, conscious breathing, and body scans allow you to observe your feelings without getting caught up in them. Imagine sitting for a few minutes a day, closing your eyes, and simply noticing each thought and sensation as it arises, like clouds passing through the sky. This simple act creates inner space, reduces emotional overload, and strengthens resilience. Journaling or writing about your emotional experiences also helps. Writing down your fears, desires, and frustrations allows you to see patterns and release what no longer serves you. With guided meditations, you can deepen this practice, learning to let go of repetitive thoughts and cultivate balance. Furthermore, these techniques teach that it's possible to remain whole even when releasing emotional excess. For those who fear losing control of their emotions, meditation shows that there's no need for total control. Just observe and accept. Start with 5 minutes a day, gradually increasing, or try apps like Headspace or Calm for practical guidance. Gratitude, included in your meditation routine, reinforces awareness of the present and softens losses, making detachment easier. With consistency, you realize that emotions no longer dictate your every action. You respond with clarity, cultivating autonomy and strengthening self-esteem. Thus, meditative practice not only calms but also transforms the way you relate to yourself and others. Detachment in romantic relationships. In the realm of love, detachment is often misunderstood. Many people confuse detachment with coldness or disinterest, but in reality, it's a way of respecting the other person's space without losing one's own autonomy. For those who feel insecure, this practice is liberating. You learn that love doesn't mean control, but rather accompaniment and support in a balanced way. A mature relationship arises precisely from this emotional freedom, where each partner maintains their individuality while sharing moments of connection. Detachment allows us to enjoy the other person's company without becoming dependent on constant validation, reducing jealousy and demands. Emotional resilience increases, and decisions become guided by clarity rather than fear. Simple practices help develop this detachment, setting healthy boundaries, dedicating time to yourself, and cultivating individual hobbies. Mindfulness and reflecting on emotions during conflicts can transform discussions into learning experiences rather than sources of insecurity. Furthermore, daily gratitude strengthens the relationship, highlighting the positive instead of dwelling on small frustrations. By letting go, you discover that emotional autonomy doesn't distance, but brings you closer, allowing love to manifest itself in a genuine and balanced way. Ultimately, it's precisely this inner trust that makes the bond stronger, safer, and more satisfying for both parties. Detachment in family relationships. In family relationships, detachment is a delicate skill, but essential for those seeking emotional balance. Recognizing that each family member has their own path helps reduce expectations and unnecessary conflict. For those struggling with insecurity, this means understanding that love isn't measured by control or constant approval, but by the respect and freedom granted. By letting go, you begin to relate with more empathy and patience, without the burden of trying to correct or mold others. This movement strengthens emotional resilience, as it teaches that not everything depends on you, and that a healthy relationship is built on mutual respect. Furthermore, cultivating detachment within the family improves self-esteem and a sense of autonomy. It's possible to support, be present, and value moments together without getting lost in pressure or fear of rejection. Mindfulness, gratitude, and clear communication techniques are powerful allies in this process, helping you observe feelings without judgment. Small acts, like listening without interrupting or accepting different choices, can completely transform family dynamics. Over time, practicing detachment brings tranquility and balance, making bonds more genuine and lasting. This way, you learn that letting go of expectations doesn't mean weakening the bond, but rather strengthening the love that truly matters. Detachment at work. In the professional environment, detachment is a powerful ally for those who want to maintain emotional balance and productivity. Separating feelings from work situations helps you deal with criticism, demands, and challenges without feeling diminished or insecure. For those who tend to internalize failures, this practice creates autonomy. You learn to evaluate feedback constructively without it impacting your self-esteem. Furthermore, detachment contributes to resilience, allowing you to react calmly in times of pressure or unexpected changes. With this approach, you can focus on what truly depends on you, avoiding unnecessary emotional stress. Continuous practice reduces anxiety and promotes clarity in decision-making, benefiting not only your professional life but also your personal life. Simple techniques can help cultivate detachment at work. Pausing before responding to emails, establishing clear boundaries between professional and personal life, and practicing mindfulness during short breaks. Daily gratitude, by recognizing small achievements and lessons learned, reinforces emotional balance and lessens the impact of frustrations. For those who feel insecure when faced with comparisons or competition, detachment means realizing that growth is personal and doesn't need to be measured by others. Over time, this attitude increases inner confidence, strengthens professional relationships, and creates a healthier environment. Thus, detachment not only protects your mental health but also enhances results and well-being. Detachment in friendships. Detachment in friendships doesn't mean cutting ties or distancing yourself from people, but rather identifying healthy relationships and adjusting expectations without creating emotional dependencies. For those struggling with insecurity, this is a real relief. You learn that friendships can change and evolve without this being interpreted as personal rejection. Practicing detachment allows each bond to be more authentic, based on mutual respect and freedom, rather than demands and fears. This strengthens your emotional resilience, as you begin to accept natural transformations in relationships without feeling threatened or abandoned. Furthermore, clarity about your own needs facilitates the building of more lasting and balanced friendships. Practices like mindfulness, open communication, and gratitude can aid this process, helping you observe feelings without judging them or reacting impulsively. It's possible to maintain contact and affection, but without depending on the other person's constant presence or approval. For those who feel insecure, this approach teaches that the value of friendships lies not in controlling others, but in sharing moments and genuine support. Adjusting expectations reduces frustration and promotes more fulfilling and satisfying relationships. Ultimately, detachment in friendships strengthens autonomy, self-esteem, and the ability to enjoy human connections fully and consciously, without suffocating or feeling overwhelmed. Gratitude as an ally of detachment. Gratitude is a powerful tool that makes the process of letting go lighter and more meaningful. By focusing on what we already have and what is positive in our lives, we reduce the fear of loss and anxiety about the future. For those facing insecurity, the daily practice of gratitude helps them realize that each experience, even the challenging ones, brings learning and growth. Noticing small achievements, gestures of affection, or moments of joy allows us to cultivate a balanced mental state, strengthening self-esteem and resilience. Gratitude transforms our perception of the present, allowing letting go not to be seen as a loss, but as an opportunity to gain clarity and freedom. Simple practices, such as keeping a gratitude journal or reflecting on 3 good things from the day before bed, can have a profound impact. Mindfulness combined with gratitude increases emotional awareness, allowing each emotion to be observed without attachment. In the context of relationships, giving thanks strengthens bonds, showing appreciation without dependence or pressure. For those who feel insecure about letting go, this approach helps them recognize gains and learnings instead of focusing on what they left behind. Over time, gratitude and letting go go hand in hand, promoting emotional balance, autonomy, and a more fulfilling and conscious life. Overcoming resistance to detachment. Fear of the unknown and a sense of loss are natural when we try to let go, especially for those facing insecurity. Resisting detachment is common because the mind tends to cling to the familiar, even if it causes suffering. The key is to start slowly, applying the concept in small, safe situations. For example, releasing unrealistic expectations about tasks or people close to you can be the first step. Each small victory strengthens emotional resilience and self-esteem, demonstrating that it's possible to let go without losing yourself. This gradual practice allows you to perceive concrete benefits, making the process more accessible and less intimidating. By facing resistance patiently, you discover autonomy and personal confidence that previously seemed distant. Seeking support also makes it easier to overcome resistance. Talking to friends, mentors, or participating in personal development groups helps you observe detachment in a practical and encouraging way. Mindfulness and meditation techniques help you observe thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them, reducing insecurity. Furthermore, keeping a journal of reflections on small achievements reinforces the sense of progress. Understanding that each step, however small, is already progress transforms detachment into continuous learning. With constant practice, what once seemed daunting becomes natural, bringing balance, emotional freedom, and clarity to deal with challenges and relationships in a healthier way. Detachment and mental health. Practicing emotional detachment directly impacts mental health, reducing anxiety, stress, and excessive expectations. For those feeling overwhelmed, this practice offers a breathing space, allowing them to deal with challenges without drowning in emotions. Detachment helps you observe feelings without judgment, promoting balance and clarity. By letting go of what is non-essential, you create a solid foundation to face adversity with resilience, strengthening self-esteem and autonomy. Consistent practice, even in small daily doses, shows that it is possible to maintain internal control without controlling everything around you. It is an invitation to live more lightly, valuing the present instead of clinging to the past or worrying about the future. Furthermore, mindfulness, journaling, and meditation techniques enhance the positive effects of detachment on the mind. Recognizing and accepting emotions without completely identifying with them diminishes negative thought patterns and strengthens psychological well-being. For those facing insecurity, detachment becomes a tool for dealing with criticism, rejection, and unexpected changes, strengthening emotional resilience. By integrating gratitude and reflection into your routine, each day becomes an opportunity for learning and inner growth. Over time, this practice creates a sense of freedom and balance, making mental health more stable and sustainable, even in the face of life's inevitable turbulence. It's time to reflect. What emotions have you been holding onto unnecessarily? What situations or relationships could become easier if you learn to let go? Emotional detachment is an invitation to inner freedom, building solid self-esteem, and strengthening resilience. Every small practice of mindfulness, gratitude, or reflection on feelings is a step toward becoming more autonomous and confident, even in the face of unexpected challenges. By applying these concepts to work, friendships, family, and romantic relationships, you realize that letting go isn't about losing, but gaining clarity and balance. How about getting started today? Try taking a few minutes to observe your emotions without judgment or write down 3 things you're grateful for. Feel the impact of letting go in your life and notice the difference in how you deal with insecurity and relationships. And to continue growing and deepening these learnings, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, ensuring access to more content that will help you strengthen your personal confidence and live more fully. The path to emotional freedom is within your reach, you just have to take the first step.